Make creative progress today. How to overcome the challenges of an artist's life. So I want to thank you again, any that have popped in just recently. Thank you so much for coming along. I really appreciate it, and I really trust that you're going to get something out of our the webinar today. Okay, so we're going to start off with, you're in the right place. If you are tired of making promises to yourself to get things done, you're desperate to finish your projects or courses, you want to become unblocked or unstuck, you're eager to develop a daily practice, or maybe you struggle to find your consistent style, or you need a stepping stone to get your work out into the world. Maybe you can't find the time to build a portfolio, or you want to take action when it comes to marketing your work, but you can't seem to get around to it. Or perhaps you're just feeling isolated, trying to get it all done on your own. So if you are stuck in any of these situations, I want you to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And in this webinar, I'm going to show you some tricks, or I should say tips and strategies to get there. And you also need to know that you're not alone in experiencing any of these things. You know, I don't think I know any creative people, any artists that don't have any challenges. For one thing, most of us are full of ideas, and yeah, to try and focus on one and get one thing finished is really hard. Oh, hi Helen, lovely to see you here. So glad you could come. Okay, right, but to set the tone, I love this quote of Charles Horton Cooley: "An artist cannot fail, it is a success to be one." So the very fact that you're acknowledging that you are a creative, and yeah, I think that alone is can be considered a success. Okay, that means you're aware and alive to who you are as a creative person. Okay, now I just want to give you a heads up that towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take up a very cool offer that will set you up for success in your creative life. So no matter what stage you're at, I think you're going to enjoy that. Okay, and yeah, you'll be able to take advantage of a really good discount that only the webinar viewers can have access to. So make sure you stay on the line. Okay, right, this is me. I want to just give you some context in relation to what I'm going to show you today. So my name is Jocelyn Fries, and I'm both an artist and a creativity coach. And I just want to share a little with you about how I got to where I am today. So I got to a point in my life where I felt like nothing was working. I was trying to get to my art each day, but I really struggled with that. I dreamed of starting a business where I could use my talents and share my gifting with the world, but I just couldn't see a way of bringing it all together. I was starting to lose hope of ever seeing my dream a reality. And, you know, I was very aware that the clock was ticking as well. I did have a day job, but I wasn't really fulfilled in it. And I knew that there was more for me. But don't get me wrong, I felt blessed in many areas of my life. I had a loving family, I still do. And I was and am fortunate to be living in one of the most beautiful and stable countries of the world, New Zealand. But somehow there was a part of me that was not fulfilled. Deep down, I knew that I was here to serve others, and I knew it revolved around my core creative passions. But because of the busyness in my life, I found it so hard to get into my studio, yet I longed for it, and I couldn't understand why I just didn't make time. I knew I needed it. Looking back now, I realized that it was not just a time issue. There were many other things stopping me. My confidence was rock bottom for a start. I secretly feared having to show what I was doing. I was resistant to giving things a go in case they weren't good enough. And I actually was blocked. I didn't know what I wanted to create. Anyway, I had other challenges, but I won't get into that here. So it was only through a series of events that I was able to progress past this paralysis. It was not a quick fix, though. It took place over a number of years and still continues to this day. I found myself in the company of a supportive group of like-minded artists, and I had a coach to guide me. And so I was able to progress in my art making and start a business selling my art. And then to top it all, I got to a point where I was compelled to give back. And I started my creativity coaching training and subsequent business to help all the wonderful artists that, like you, want to follow their dreams. So because I value community and encouragement and support in getting things done, like accountability, I value these things highly myself. So it was a given that I would want to provide this for you guys. So the Artists in Action community was born. And I'm going to tell you a little about that later. And don't forget to stick around if you can till the end because of that special offer I'm going to present to you. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. Why we need to create, why we don't, and how to make it happen. How to overcome the negative self-talk, how to build confidence in your creative life, and then my solution and offer to help you overcome these challenges. And I'm very excited to share this all with you today. Okay, so can you relate to any of these? And please type into the chat if any of these resonate with you. You feel overwhelmed. You can't stay focused on one project. You struggle to implement your ideas. You're unsure of your next steps. Or you're fearful of stepping out. Or you just feel frustrated and helpless. Maybe you know that you're not doing the important stuff. In other words, just fluffing around, not doing what really counts. You know what to do, but you just don't do it. You've tried to be consistent, but haven't succeeded. You feel demoralized at how little you get done. You have an unfinished project that really needs to get done. Or you have taken course after course with no results to show. Or you've wanted to start on a creative path for so long. Now, all these things can make one feel pretty miserable. So let's take a look at why we actually need to create. So I'm assuming that most of you on this call today have something inside of you that draws you to creating. You might be starting out on your creative path. But wherever you sit on the continuum, you have this yearning inside to create. It's like a deep-seated, almost genetic response and something natural that's inside of you. For some, the pull might be stronger, but I do believe that we are all wired for creativity. And this quote from Brené Brown is one of my favorites. There is no such thing as creative people and non-creative people. There are only people who use their creativity and people who don't. Unused creativity doesn't just disappear. It lives within us until it is expressed, neglected to death, or suffocated by resentment and fear. So we all need to step into that which we were created for. Okay, so some more reasons of why we need to create. Something compels us to create. The act of creating teaches us about ourselves. It teaches us to pay attention. Oh, thanks, Helen. Yes, most of those. I actually agree with that too. I have suffered and do suffer from most of those things. So sorry, back to this. Yeah, it teaches us to pay attention. It teaches us to feel and to make meaning, and it's a way of life for us. If we don't create, we miss out on a big part of life. And another quote here by Albert Hubbard, art is not a thing, it is a way. I like that too. So, why we need to create, more reasons, is that creating shows us how to tell our truth. Okay, it's meditative, depending on where you come from. So it helps us, it gives us time to think, it gives us space. And without it, many of us, frankly, just become cranky or grumpy. We need our art fix. So, yeah, relating back to those questions that I asked before, the reasons we don't create, even though we want to, are usually to do with fear, okay, which manifests as resistance. And of course, vulnerability, it's scary to put yourself out there. So we make excuses, like being too busy or not having the right equipment. We feel we're not good enough. And this can stem from early experiences when we were a child, and most often is heard through our own self-talk. Okay, so how to make it happen? Right. To overcome those challenges, can we look for inspiration, or can we try to get motivated, or just be very determined, or promise ourselves that we will set up a daily practice, or maybe enrolling in a few classes will help? Really? Will this really help? Oh, Whimsy Wood and Wool, thank you for responding there. And yes, you can relate to some of those issues. Good. Okay. Well, not good, but I'm glad that you can relate to some of those there. Okay. So, do we think that those 5 things can really help us get ahead? Well, has this worked for you? Maybe it has for a short time. There are so many other crucial factors that play a part. So, meaningfulness and desire. You need to create meaning around your art. What is your reason for creating? Your why? This will link in with your desire to create. Okay, it'll give you a purpose. Realistic goals. So, are your goals realistic? By doing a little every day, you will get there. If they're not realistic, change the goals. Okay, if you're a binge creator, ask yourself how that's working. This means that you only create when you have a big window of time free. So if you have a whole day set aside to create, that's fantastic. But for a lot of people, it's all or nothing. Studies have shown that doing a little bit each day is far more productive than trying to find big spaces of time to create. So I'm going to show you a way that will make you productive and successful, even if you are very resistant. Okay, so support, that's another big one. Do you have enough support to cheer you on? It's hard if your family maybe doesn't understand your need to create, or maybe you are single-handedly trying to start a creative business. We definitely need people around us who get it. Okay, community. In the same way, do you have other artists around you that you can use as a sounding board and get inspiration from? It's important to associate yourself with like-minded people. Accountability. That's another biggie. And I don't mean sporadic or even weekly accountability. If you mean business, you need daily accountability. Encouragement. Sometimes it all seems too hard, and we need encouragement along the way. Otherwise, it's all too easy just to give up. So if you are wanting results and a guaranteed way to make progress, I'm going to show you how you can have all this later on in the presentation. Okay, so how to overcome the negative self-talk. Right, first of all, notice your thoughts. But by becoming aware, you will be able to recognize how unreasonable they are. Remember, you're in charge of them, so choose to acknowledge them and then let them go. And dispute them. Would you let someone talk to you the way your thoughts are talking to you? I don't think so. So let them go. I know that sounds easier said than done, but you can use some kind of imagery to help. You could imagine, yeah, this is what I like to do. Imagine your thoughts on a long piece of string, and that's attached to you. And imagine yourself cutting it off so that it's no longer attached. Okay, or you can just picture these negative thoughts drifting off out of your mind and into the distance, never to be seen again. Align your thoughts with your goal, not your emotions. Yeah, not how you're feeling. So remember how I talked about your reason for creating, your purpose, and that's what you need to be focused on. It's not actually all about us. It's also about sharing and giving to other people through your art. Okay, so give yourself some compassion. That may sound something like, well, I'm facing a really big job and I have a lot on my back, but it's okay to take it slowly. Okay, if you miss a day of creating that you've promised yourself, just give yourself a bit of slack and a bit of compassion, and that can go a long way. Recognize your thoughts are trying to protect you, because that's actually what your negative thoughts or your ego is all about. Okay, it's keeping you safe. So you can just tell your thoughts, your unhelpful thoughts, that you've got this, you're okay, and that they can leave. You don't need them around anymore. You're quite okay on your own. Block and substitute with positive, relaxing thoughts. Sorry, I forgot to move that slide on. With positive, relaxing thoughts. Okay, avoid comparison. This can only hurt you. Keep in mind that you are unique, and what you create is going to be unique too. And don't compare yourself to the stage other people are at, because it probably took them a long time to get where they are. Okay, perfectionism. That is a biggie. Celebrate your imperfectness. Okay, it leaves room to grow. Take the pressure off. Be gracious and kind to yourself. Okay, I could give a whole nother webinar on this. Maybe I will one day. Posture. Okay, so I'm mentioning this here for those of you that can't sit still for long. You like to move around, for the kinetics among us. So if your self-talk is getting the better of you, get up and change your posture. Stand tall, center yourself, breathe deep. This tells your brain that you mean business when you're feeling like giving up. And just remember, you are in charge. Okay, so how to build confidence in your creative life. Do you deserve success? For whatever reason, often originating from our childhood, we feel undeserving. And it can affect us in all areas of our life, including filtering into our creativity and how we rate ourselves, as to how good or bad our art is. Do you approve of yourself? Another way to self-sabotage is a subconscious disapproval of ourselves. This ties in with the negative self-talk on the slide before. Remind yourself as you go through your day-to-day business to approve of yourself. Shower yourself with little imaginary hearts. Just love on you. Write a list of reasons why you are deserving, why you could allow yourself to be a success. All these things will have the effect of building your confidence, okay? Of not looking down on yourself, but thinking, hey, I'm okay. Develop a mindset of growth. Don't limit yourself with thoughts of, I can't do that. Think big, but remember, it takes small steps to get there. Take out the performance. As soon as we start creating as if it were a performance piece, this is often when we start losing our confidence. Make your creating just something you do. Take your eyes and mind off the performance and focus on the now and enjoy the process. And again, taking our eyes off ourselves and thinking about the reason, okay? The motivation, the why of what we are doing. That also helps. Okay, and accept that criticism will come your way. Learn to welcome it, not fear it. Okay, the key here is learning to separate it from who you actually are. Okay, so what if instead of the shame of not getting things done, okay, you might be starting to feel a little bit embarrassed about not getting things done when you see other people achieving so much. So instead of that, instead of the self-loathing, instead of giving up when you could really be making a difference in the world, instead of enrolling for more and more classes to inspire and motivate you, what if you could discover an innovative way, a solution to solve your dilemma? Okay, and this is where I deliver on my promise to offer you the solution that you've been waiting for. Okay, so let me introduce you to Artists in Action, my little baby that I'm very excited about. Okay, it's a supportive online community where you'll meet like-minded creatives in a small group environment. Okay, imagine this. Okay, so this is what Artists in Action looks like. How would you like to have 24/7 access to coaching, belong to a group of like-minded artists who you can bounce ideas off, and receive and offer encouragement, have a place to connect where others understand the struggles you face? How would you like to not feel like an isolated drop in the huge sea of the internet? Okay, imagine developing your style through daily creating, because that's pretty much how you do it. Developing your own style around your art happens from daily creating. Learn through monthly focus topics geared around success strategies and putting them into action. Okay, and imagine getting monthly rewards to motivate your daily progress. So Artists in Action is not another course to complete. In fact, you can use Artists in Action to strategically get your unfinished courses done. You'll learn how to implement, take action, and stick to it. So if you're serious about getting things done and getting results, you need daily accountability. Okay, there has been extensive research done that shows that having weekly accountability is not enough. It just doesn't solve the problems like daily check-ins do. Artists in Action. In Artists in Action, we focus on taking small daily steps, manageable steps, even 10, 15 minutes a day that will get you to your goals. So you'll find that this makes you more creative and more productive and gets you a better finished product. This can be especially helpful if you are working at a day job or trying to fit your art projects in and around that. Okay, so some of the things that you'll experience in the Artists in Action community. Artists in Action have a group structure of up to approximately 12 participants. So, you know, we know that isolation kills creativity. You don't need to go it alone. Okay, it's critical to have support. For any of you that have worked with a coach before, you would probably have been restricted to weekly or even monthly contact. In Artists in Action, you'll have 24/7 coaching support. And that alone is worth hundreds of dollars, believe me. So you'll experience encouragement from other group members, and that is invaluable and boosts morale. You'll get monthly focus topics based on what you want. And this doesn't mean copious amounts of material to read. That would be defeating the purpose. It'll be placed in the forums as optional reading. Okay, so I want to show you inside Artists in Action. Just a quick little overview of some of the things that that we have. So first of all, the progress log. Now this is where you come in, check in every day. So each of those little ticks is, signifies your check-in, whether you have done something that day or not. You can still come in and, put your little tick there, because that builds a habit of whether whether you've achieved anything or not that day, you still showing up. Okay, then daily coaching questions. When you check in, there'll be a list of questions, and these questions are the same every day, asking, what you got done that day, asking how many minutes a day you did it, other things like how you felt, did you have any negative self-talk, rating on a scale of 1 to 10 maybe, how you felt you did, all these kind of things. Log those in. And another feature is the chat. So this is where you can have a live chat with either a member in your group or site-wide, okay? Because within Artists in Action, you'll have your little group, and then there will be other groups. But your specific group is the one that you mainly interact with. And we also have what we call live work sprints, which is, I will announce a time for everyone to gather in the chat, and we'll set a time that everyone's going to work for, might be 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. So everyone goes away, does their art or whatever they're wanting to be wanting to achieve, and they come back after the half hour and report back. And it's just a fun way of feeling like you're in this together. And peer support. So remember how I said there'll be this list of questions when you check in each day. Your peers, other people in your group, will come into your page and see your comments, and they will leave their own comments to encourage you. And this is where I come in as coach as well. I will leave you feedback. If you're asking some questions, need a bit of direction, that's where I'll give it to you as well. Okay, then we have the discussion forums, which is a place where we will announce, I'll announce certain things. You can come in, and if you might have questions, or if you have something that you feel might help the group, you can put it into the forum there. You can either keep your discussions within your little group, or again, put it out there for the whole group to see. Graphs. This is quite a cool feature. When you check in and you're logging your comments, some of the questions have a numerical value that you'll add, and when you do that, it gets added to the graph. So there might be how many minutes did you work today? And if you say 15 minutes, it'll go into your graph for that day's entry. And so after a week or 2 or 3, you can look back on your graphs and you can see a pattern of how you've been working. Or maybe, if it's a scale of 1 to 10, how you've been feeling, you might see a pattern there of every Monday you weren't feeling that good, but, by the time Friday came, you were feeling a 10 out of 10. So, yeah, it's a really, really nice feature. Okay, then I'd like to just read this testimonial from Joe Dodds, who's taken part in this program. The program gave me some real momentum and impetus to get stuff done, which was especially great given what I did was the stuff that I had been most procrastinating on. I love the accountability and support provided by the group. It was great to know we were each working on different goals, but also supporting each other to take small daily actions towards those goals, I wouldn't have achieved anywhere near as much as I did without the program. This is, sorry, from Kelly, I often started with a goal feeling strong, but unfortunately, my energy and commitment usually wane. Since joining this program 2 months ago, I've accomplished more than I ever expected. I wrote articles regularly and created a program, both of which I had been procrastinating for months. Documenting our daily progress each day, as well as the encouragement from the coach and group members, were key to keeping me engaged. I would recommend this program to anyone who needs to complete important tasks that otherwise they tend to procrastinate doing. Okay, so that just gives you a little inside view. Okay, so it's not just another accountability group. You'll get individualized attention and support from your coach. You'll get encouragement from your peers as well to cheer you on. You'll never be left to struggle on your own. You'll have daily accountability. You'll set realistic goals broken into small, doable steps. And on joining the group, I will help you with that process of setting your goals. And you will have a community that supports you. Okay. Now, I know that the moving and shaking doesn't happen when you're on your own. And that's why I can offer you a supportive, positive environment, okay, where you've got a progress tracking system at your fingertips and where you'll learn success strategies and put them into use, and where you'll gain new habits of creative productivity. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why you showed up today, but it might have been that you've tried to change before and it didn't work, or you've found weekly accountability a weak technique, or you want to start creating regularly with support. Perhaps you want to start marketing your work and you need a community that will support you.